Ladies, we need to talk about your underwear drawer. Yes, that drawer. I know some of you are still holding on to pairs from the Clinton administration, and others are wearing styles that look cute but are secretly hurting your health. Doctors are warning senior women about 5 specific types of underwear that could actually be risky. Yes, risky. So before you get dressed tomorrow, you need to hear this. And make sure you stay with me to the end, because mistake number 5, almost every woman I know over 60 is still wearing it. Oh, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more savvy senior advice, and tell me in the comments, what's the oldest pair of undies you still own? Be honest, I won't judge. Part 1, the lacy troublemaker. Let's talk about lace. Oh, I know, it's pretty, it's dainty, it's feminine. Back in the day, I used to wear lacy lingerie under my Sunday best and feel like a queen. And even now, I still admire a delicate scalloped edge when I'm browsing the shelves. But here's the truth. Lace underwear, especially as we age, is not our friend anymore. Why? Because our skin has changed. It's not the same resilient, elastic canvas it once was. By the time we're in our 60s, 70s, and beyond, our skin becomes thinner, drier, and more prone to damage. It's called dermal thinning, and it happens naturally as estrogen levels drop. The result: skin that's more likely to chafe, tear, or develop rashes from rough or textured materials. Lace might look soft, but if you've ever had a pair of lace undies bunch up, twist, or dig in when you're walking, you know how uncomfortable they can be. And worse, the synthetic fibers most lace underwear are made from don't breathe. They trap moisture, increase friction, and can irritate the delicate vulvar area. In fact, many gynecologists now actively advise older women to avoid lace altogether, especially for daily wear. That lovely pair you pull out for special occasions? Sure, keep it for short stints. But if you're wearing lace panties around the house, while gardening, doing laundry, or sleeping, you're gambling with your comfort and health. I had a friend, Margaret, who thought she had a yeast infection for weeks. Turned out it was an allergic reaction to a lace trim that had slowly started to fray. Once she switched to all cotton briefs, the irritation cleared up in days. So what's the alternative? Try cotton or bamboo with a bit of stretch. Look for smooth seams, no tags, and gentle leg openings. You can still feel elegant without the scratchy aftermath. Remember, being mature doesn't mean being matronly, but it does mean choosing comfort without compromise. Part 2, the tighty knot SO whiteys. Tight underwear. You know the ones. That pair that hugs you so snug it feels like it was made for a Barbie doll, not a real woman with hips, curves, and a life story. Now I get it. We're used to the idea that tight means flattering, that snug equals shapely. But let me tell you something. After a certain age, tight underwear does more harm than good. Let's break it down. First, circulation. Underwear that's too tight around the waist or thighs can actually compress blood vessels, especially if you sit for long periods. And who among us doesn't spend more time seated these days, whether it's reading, crafting, or just resting those hard-working legs? Tight elastic bands can cause red welts, indentations, and even nerve irritation, especially in areas around the hips and groin. In some women, chronic pressure can lead to something called meralgia paresthetica, a fancy term for a tingling, burning, or numb sensation on the outer thigh. And believe it or not, doctors have linked some cases to, you guessed it, too tight underwear. But that's not all. Tight panties can also trap heat and moisture, creating the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. If you've noticed more yeast infections or urinary tract issues lately, your underwear might be part of the problem. We tend to blame soap, laundry detergent, or even food, but sometimes it's simply that our undergarments aren't giving us space to breathe. One woman in my walking group had recurring UTIs. Her doctor finally asked what kind of underwear she wore. when she admitted to wearing tight high-rise control briefs every day just to hold it all in. The doctor told her plainly, "You're holding in more than just your stomach. You're holding in bacteria, too. Ladies, I'm begging you, go up a size. Ignore the tag. No one sees it, but you. Comfort is the new sexy. And when you're not being cut in half like a sausage link, you'll notice it in your posture, your digestion, your mood. Let your body expand a little. After everything it's done for you, it's earned it." Part 3. The polyester problem. Now, let's talk about fabric. And before you roll your eyes, yes, it matters more than you think. The third risky type of underwear for senior women, anything made from synthetic material, especially polyester and nylon. Now, I know why we all wore it back in the day. It was sleek, stretchy, and looked cute under clothes. But modern research is loud and clear. Synthetic fabrics trap moisture, increase temperature, and create the ideal environment for bacteria and fungal overgrowth. Why? Because materials like polyester are essentially plastic fibers. They don't allow airflow. They don't absorb moisture. And when we sweat, even just a little, it gets trapped right up against our most delicate skin. For older women, this is especially risky because of a few factors. Lower estrogen means thinner vaginal tissue, less natural lubrication, and increased susceptibility to infections. Our immune response slows, so the body isn't fighting off bacteria as easily. We often have less mobility, meaning we might sit for longer stretches, which worsens the impact of heat and moisture. The result? More yeast infections, more vaginal irritation, more odors, and even things like intertrigo, a nasty rash caused by moist skin rubbing together in warm areas. I once wore a silky pair of nylon undies on a summer day out shopping, thinking I looked sleek. By the time I got home, I had a rash that took a week to heal. Never again. Doctors overwhelmingly recommend 100% cotton underwear for everyday use. Cotton is breathable, absorbent, and soft. It helps keep the pH balance of your intimate area in check. Bamboo is another great option, naturally antimicrobial and even more breathable than cotton. And don't be fooled by that cotton gusset marketing. Some brands slap a tiny cotton patch inside synthetic panties and call it a day. No, darling, the whole panty should be breathable, not just the landing pad. So, do yourself a favor. Do a quick check. Are your undies mostly polyester, nylon, or spandex blends? If they are, consider replacing them, especially if you've had recurring issues down there. Your lady parts will thank you. Part 4. The old reliable. That's falling apart. Now, let's get a little personal. We all have that one pair of underwear, the old reliable. They've been washed 100 times, maybe more. The elastic is loose, the fabric is paper thin, and the waistband, well, it's hanging on for dear life. They might have a few holes, some mysterious stains that refuse to go, and faded flowers that once bloomed bright in the 80s. And yet we keep them. I get it. They're comfortable. They've molded to your shape like a second skin. You've worn them through flu seasons, road trips, garden days, and grandkids' sleepovers. But here's the truth we don't like to hear. Old, worn-out underwear isn't just ugly. It can be unsanitary and even unhealthy. Over time, underwear fabric degrades. The fibers loosen, the structure breaks down, and it becomes a breeding ground for bacteria, even after washing. That's right, studies have shown that underwear that's been through dozens of laundry cycles can still carry bacteria and fungi, especially if it's heavily worn or if you don't use hot water or sanitizing detergent. And here's something doctors have confirmed. As we age, our immune systems become slower to respond. That means we're more vulnerable to infection from even small exposures. So keeping that lucky pair of undies around just because they're soft, it's a hidden health risk. A friend of mine, Nancy, had a rash that just wouldn't go away. She tried creams, powders, changed her soap. Nothing worked. Finally, her dermatologist asked, "How old are your underwear?" When she admitted that she hadn't bought new ones in almost 10 years, the doctor gently said, "That's your problem." And there's another factor: support. Old underwear loses its ability to hold you in the right places. That gentle, lifting support that helps with posture, pelvic comfort, and even incontinence, gone. What you're left with is a piece of limp fabric that isn't doing anything for your health or your dignity. So here's my challenge to you. Go through your drawer this week. Hold each pair up to the light. If you can see through them, toss them. If they sag, bunch, or have elastic that's waving the white flag, it's time to say goodbye. Your body deserves fresh starts, even in the smallest of ways. Part 5. The thong mistake. Yes, really? All right, let's address the elephant, or rather, the string in the room: thongs. Now, before you gasp, yes, I know some of you still wear them, and that's your business. But I wouldn't be doing my job as your savvy older sister if I didn't tell you the truth about thongs and aging bodies. Let me put it plainly. Thongs are not designed with mature women in mind. They're narrow, they sit high, they shift constantly, and they offer zero protection for areas that, by now, need a bit more respect. Doctors across the board warn that thongs can create real hygiene issues, especially as we age. Here's why. Right arrow, they act like a wick. That tiny strip of fabric can carry bacteria from the back to the front, increasing the risk of UTIs, bacterial vaginosis, and even yeast infections. Right arrow, they cause microtears. As estrogen drops, vaginal tissues become thinner and more fragile. That means a thong rubbing back and forth all day can create tiny tears in the skin. Even if you don't feel it, the damage builds up. Right arrow, they offer no barrier. For women with light bladder leakage or discharge, which is very common after 60, a thong gives you no absorbency, no buffer, and no modesty. You may not notice until you're already dealing with discomfort or odor. And let's be real, comfort matters. Many of us have dealt with hemorrhoids, sensitive tailbones, or pelvic floor issues. The last thing you need is a dental floss-style undergarment riding up where it doesn't belong. That's not sexy, that's torture. Now, I'm not saying you have to switch to granny panties. There are beautiful, seamless cotton briefs and hipster styles that hug your shape without digging in. You can still have the no panty line look without sacrificing your health. If you must wear a thong, keep it occasional. Make sure it's 100% cotton, not synthetic, and wash it carefully after every wear. But for everyday life, opt for something that honors your body, your comfort, and your wisdom. We've lived through enough discomfort. Let's stop inviting it into our underwear drawer.